The wind is blowing, the rain is howling. He can't keep a box over him to save his life, and it's just like,
I don't know how he didn't die of infection.
Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly it.
Wound. Yeah, it's
very movie set like, because we're coming off of things like Batman and Dick Tracy, and they're trying to figure out how to do the superhero movies, and all those early ones feel almost even when they're dirty, they're super clean looking.
Yeah,
it all looks like a set. Welcome to Season 3 of Talking Pondo. Talking Pondo is a podcast where Cliff and Marty give each other a film to watch and talk about them in detail. Some episodes will include a special guest. The Phantom of the Opera becomes a superhero will not be seen this week, so we may bring you the following biopic on Peter Vincent.
I'm loving these cold openings. They get better and better every week, I'm telling you.
Always do this goofy little joke to start there.
Yeah, he did one week, and I was like, okay, well, now you got to do them every week because they're fun.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay, well, so back. Let's see, Season 3, Episode 19?
19, wow.
19, which puts us somewhere in the, I think this is 91?
91, rapidly approaching 100 episodes.
Yes.
Which will hit later this year. We're back again. It's Talking Pondo. It's me, Marty, as always, and Cliff over there, even though you can't see the direction since this is just sound and we don't do stereo mixing. Wouldn't that be obnoxious? Have you ever heard podcasts where one voice comes out of the left speaker and the other comes out of the right? It's really disorienting when you have headphones on, I think.
I might do that for one episode just to drive everybody crazy.
With people.
But yeah, you don't want to watch us on video anyways. That's the reason that we're directors and not actors. Behind the camera people.
We're behind the camera.
Yeah. So my mother used to say, you have a face for the closet.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up because our two films today, and we do have guests, which we'll bring up.
Got some good ones.
It's good to have guests today. We've met a lot of actors through a bunch of cons and whatnot. We usually find that they're all about 5 foot tall, right around there, and both are 6 foot. And we're like, oh, that's why we're the directors. We're kind of like, the tall people. But both films today feature two tall actors. We have Liam Neeson in Darkman, and we have Chris Sarandon in Fright Night, and they're both easily 6 foot or more.
Above. Yeah, I think Neeson's 6'2" or something like that.
Everyone.
Yeah. It's real, which is really it's he's not kidding. Like if you go to these cons or you meet some of these, I mean, Danny Trejo is 5'4".
Right.
He looks huge on like on film, but he's just he's a tiny dude. So it's like, or when you meet Officer Dewey.
David Arquette. Yeah, he's
about 5'7", 5'8", maybe something like that. Yeah, it's very surprising. I'm 6'4", so everybody's kind of shorter to me, but it's when they're way shorter, you're like, oh, this is crazy. Okay. There's that famous thing they talk about Alan Ladd and Shane, right, where they had Jack Palance literally dug a trough and had him walk in it because Ladd was very short. And they wanted to have that eye line, so they put him on a box, or they'd have, literally dig a hole and have plants step in it and stand in it. That's hilarious. So. All right, so who we got this week?
Well, our guests this week are the director-writer team that brought us the film Demon Squad, which some of you may know from MST Season 13, or you may have just discovered the movie by itself out in the wild. And it's Thomas and Erin Smith today.
Woohoo!
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for
welcome.
Coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I'm ecstatic to have anybody who's had a film on Mystery Science Theater. That's one of our absolute favorite shows. Congratulations on that. That's
Thank
amazing.
You. It was a very unique experience. I will say, talking about short actors, all of my actors seem to be very short. It helps that I'm tall and I can sort of, if I need to, just sort of lean over them to make my point. But I had a very tall actress in our last movie, and it was intimidating to have someone else like looking down at you. So yeah, I see why like all the actors are short.
I'm not a fan of people who are taller than me. I'm not. I'm being. It's all. I'm not used to looking up at people.
It throws you off your game when you're used to being the tallest person in the room. It's really
Yeah, I'm 5'4", so everybody's taller than me except Danny Trejo. So.
You guys are like literally eye level. You'd be like,
we really are.
Well, again, thanks for coming on the show. So when we asked you on, we love to do this thing where we kind of invite a guest on, throw 3 movies at them, see which one they're interested in, and let them, throw a movie at us. It's a lot of fun. And we threw, Fright Night is what we threw at them. Is that right?
I think.
Oh, we had Darkman.
Yes, we gave them Darkman, and they gave us Fright Night.
Fright Night. Okay, yeah. Because I was like, I didn't remember putting Fright Night on the list. Okay, but Darkman I definitely remember putting on the list. And boy, I have notes.
I have a strange relationship with Darkman. It came out when I was probably maybe 10. Okay. And I remember my mom wanted to see it, but we never actually saw it. And the only real experience I had with it was the comic book cover for, I guess, the adaptation of the movie. And it just always intrigued me. And I only saw, I think, like maybe the last 20 minutes on USA Network at some point. And I never got to see really the rest of it, I don't think. So it was always just sort of this, I knew it was there, and I love Sam Raimi, and I was like, this is the perfect chance to go watch Darkman.
Oh, this is your first viewing of it?
In full, yeah. I took advantage of it, and I bought the Blu-ray, but it was the one that has Darkman, Darkman 2, The Return of Durant, and Darkman 3, Darkman Die.
Wow.
We can talk about those too.
I didn't even realize they had made those next 2.
Yeah, direct-to-video. Yeah.
Direct-to-video.
Well, it kind of started Raimi and Stafford's TV career in a way, making those direct-to-video. The next thing you know, it's Cena, Hercules, etc. But Cliff and I went and saw Darkman the day it came out.
Oh, really?
We reviewed it for our school paper. We were like 15, 16 at the time. And Raimi was already my favorite director from the Evil Dead films. So, like, he made a mainstream big-budget movie. We got to go see this.
Yeah. And it's so weird. It's like this weird in-between, like, style-wise for Raimi between Evil Dead and Spider-Man, where it's you can tell that he's kind of reining himself in, but then sometimes he's going full Raimi, and it's this weird tone where it's like kind of have this goofy smile on your face, like that's Raimi, but then sometimes it's also like maybe pull it back just a tiny bit here, buddy. It's like there's the Carney scene, I think, where it just kind of goes like full
off the rails
Raimi.
Yeah,
like it doesn't really fit with anything else.
Yeah. Well, let's dive into Darkman.
Yeah. So, Cliff, what is 1990s Darkman?
Okay, 1990s Darkman. I forgot to pull this up before we started, so give me just a second. We'll edit this out while I'm talking. And okay, Darkman, 1990, rated R, 1 hour 36 minutes. Directed by Sam Raimi, written by Sam Raimi, Ivan Raimi, starring Liam Neeson, Frances McDormand. Brilliant scientist left for dead returns to exact revenge on the people who burned him alive. That's your log line. And your storyline is quite a bit longer. Mild-mannered scientist Peyton Westlake, who works out of a lab set up in his loft apartment, is beaten within an inch of his life, but assumed dead by criminal Robert Durant and his thugs. Durant solely wanting to retrieve a document discovered by Peyton's lawyer girlfriend, Julie Hastings, implicating Durant's developer associate Louis Strack Jr. of offering bribes to get his latest waterfront development passed by the Zoning Commission, and about which Peyton ostensibly knew nothing. In the aftermath of the lab being destroyed in an explosion set by Durant, Julie knows nothing about Strack being behind what happened, let alone that Peyton was targeted or that Peyton survived, and only fragments of his body being discovered, and her assumption that he perished in the explosion. Man, this is really poorly written. Apologies to the listener here.
There's a lot of plot.
Yeah, she further believes that the document was also destroyed in the explosion, while in reality, Durant was able to locate it in the loft. Peyton's still alive body is discovered, and now he's a John Doe, and they operate on him in an experimental burn unit where they're able to keep him alive, but he's permanently physically scarred and changed fundamentally in 3 ways. He's no longer able to feel physical pain, he has increased physical strength, and he is emotionally more aggressive to the point of being violent if pushed. He's basically a fucking superhero. Able to escape, Peyton returns to work in developing synthetic skin. He plans to use synthetic skin to don disguises and exacting revenge not only on Durant and his team of thugs, but on Strack. The problem for Peyton is that he is only able to maintain the skin for 99 minutes in open daylight, or and the material is light sensitive and it starts to melt. So, what a terrible plot. synopsis. This guy Huggo, he writes either good ones or bad ones, and I think Huggo may be an AI. I'm just guessing. But anyway, so there you go. So Darkman. So yeah, we reviewed this for the school paper. I remember Sam Raimi being the first director that Marty and I kind of like when we met in high school, talked about movies and all that kind of stuff. It was the first director we kind of really were both got into and thought was going to be really great. And, building on your comment, Thomas, I think one of my notes here is that this is very much Raimi trying to put down the independent director Raimi and build the Hollywood director Raimi, the guy who goes on to direct Spider-Man, and have the #1 picture in the world and the highest grossing picture for quite a while. You can see him like, all right, I can still pull out my old tricks, but now I have a budget and I don't need them as much. So I'm going to try something else. And I'm going to try, to tell a different story. Right.
Exactly. Yes. And I feel like if you've ever watched Crime Wave, where it was like in between Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, where it's like sort of an attempt at a more mainstream movie, but he still was Raimi, full Raimi.
Yeah, full
right. This is him trying to adapt to the more mainstream before. I guess he did Quick and the Dead after this, probably.
Well, Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness, yeah.
Army of Darkness, yeah. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But I mean, even Army of Darkness, he starts to kind of get that style down, right? And then, by I think what is it? I'm looking at his.
I think he has a much better handle on it, balance wise, with Army of Darkness to kind of.
I would agree with that. Yeah,
hit that mainstream button and also the weird Raimi tones, But I love just kind of the concept of Darkman. I think it's a really good idea for a superhero. And I know he made this because he couldn't make the Shadow and he couldn't make Batman. So he made up his own character. And I think it's just a really great idea that I wish they had gotten to explore more in like a TV series or something, because it felt like it was set up for more, down the line.
I feel like Frances McDormand is miscast in this. Like,
I just don't said that in the
I just don't feel like this is her kind of picture, and she does she does a workmanlike job of it. She's not a bad actress by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just like, I don't think this is your type of part. You just don't. Yeah, I don't know. You don't. I'm not really buying it, and you're not really. It doesn't really seem like you're really trying to sell it too hard.
Exactly. It's a more unusual role for her, I would say. But I thought Liam Neeson was pretty great.
He's fantastic. Yeah, Larry Drake too.
And I
a lot of scenery.
I thought it was weird that looking back, because I always assumed that the Larry Drake character was the big bad, and then they based the sequel on bringing his name is in the title, Return of Durant. He's just a glorified lackey.
Yeah.
And that really surprised me because I didn't realize that going in. The other guy's so boring.
It was weird too, because like, especially at the end where he starts to interact with Strack, he becomes very like submissive, and like Strack just shits on him and he just kind of takes it and accepts it. And it's like, it's such a weird shift from the guy who's collecting fingers and killing people.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like once he's out of the picture before the big climax finale, I feel like once that helicopter crashes into that tunnel, it kind of deflates some, because it's like, it felt like he was the Joker to Darkman's Batman, and so then you're left with this just guy who's kind of boring. We've seen only like maybe 2 scenes with him.
Just kind of your stereotypical late 80s, early 90s. I'm the bad corporate boyfriend.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm a bad developer. I'm Donald Trump. Or whatever,
Which it gave me a little bit of RoboCop vibes, because he has the big model of the city, like this is the future of the city, kind of like OCP had in RoboCop, and then
very much.
Of course, has that very Alex Murphy origin of just being torn apart and then having to rebuild himself from that.
There are some weird parallels to RoboCop in this, aren't there? That's interesting. I didn't even pick up on that. That's a good catch. The dialogue's really goofy. Like it's goofy dialogue. It's not how people talk, and it's not even how kind of they talk in comics. Like you could tell this is where Sam's all figuring out, but like at one point, they bring their document they're looking for. They break in, they kick the shit out of Liam Neeson, and they're looking for the document. At one point, somebody brings the document to Larry Drake, and he just goes, "Oh, goody," and takes it out. And he's, "Oh, goody." Somebody stopped and fucking typed in "oh goody."
Yeah, "oh goody"
typewriter and was like, "That's what we'll go with." "Oh goody."
Oh yeah.
And then the weird, very cartoony, like what he had, like he turned the gas on and there was a lighter there, and for some reason I guess he found a drinking bird, and that was gonna it was all hit. Everything hinged on the drinking bird hitting the lighter at the right time.
Right.
That was very like Batman 66, right there. It's like R-rated version of Batman 66. But I think there's a lot of weird tonal whiplash.
Very much so, yeah.
So it makes it kind of hard to. I think it would take a couple of viewings.
Yeah.
To really like get into the groove, I guess.
Well, what just killed me is that he's called Darkman, and they make this big deal about figuring out that the synthetic skin works pretty much fine in the dark. It's just a sensitive to light, and yet he feels like let's just only put on the synthetic skin and go look for these bad guys in daylight.
Yeah.
Like, make it easy on yourself, dude. Just go at night.
It's like he didn't earn his name of Darkman. Yeah,
not at all. I kept waiting for it to come into place somewhere where it would, like, the light bulb would go off, and I can just do this at night.
And I will say the vocal mimicry was a little hard to believe.
Oh yeah, that was like you have missed your calling.
I mean, Erin makes a great point though. Like all this gnashing and wailing of teeth to get to Frances McDormand's character, and I'm back and I love you, when he could have just been like, meet me for dinner tonight and I'll explain everything. Yeah. And then he can wear that friggin' face for 4 or 5 hours. I mean, it's no big deal. That scene where they've got him spinning on the spinning machine thingy,
Yeah.
And the nurse from American Werewolf in London is talking, and she's a doctor.
Yeah.
All I could think, well, first off, it was good to see her in another movie. You don't see her in a lot of stuff. But secondly, all I could think of was how many fucking revolutions did the poor guy have to do on that thing while they were like, all right, cut. No, we're gonna have to reset. And he's just like, oh, let me off of this. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Hopefully stop.
And I will say that I recognized her, and I looked it up. I was like, she's got to be in this for more than this one scene, right? Nope. Did not come back. Didn't have anything else to do. That was it. But I do love the Ted Raimi cameo where he's just trying to be some sort of badass.
Ted's gonna get his screen time.
Yeah. And then I did love the other cameo from the guy that played Jake in Evil Dead 2, where he's got one leg in this with his machine gun leg, and he's like, they take the leg off and use it as a machine gun. He's just like hobbling around, bouncing on his one good leg. I thought that was like hilarious. That was
opening scene is so ridiculous because it's like they pull up and there's like 8 of them in car, get out in 2 cars, and this warehouse doors open up and there's like 50 guys there. Like, hey, we're gonna patch you down, and then suddenly one dude with a machine gun, built into a fake leg is just mowing everybody down. And it's just, it was like, what the fuck? Okay, sure. And Larry Drake's just slowly shooting people one at a time, and I feel like
there are elements of like greatness, like the cigar cutting thing with the fingers. That's like such a like memorable character trademark.
Yeah. But
then at the end of the day, I kind of walk away. It's like, it's fine. It's as a whole, it's fine. I can watch it. It's fine.
Yeah,
but
it was fine.
It's I'm honestly surprised there hasn't been like a reboot or something. But I'm not sure how many people remember Darkman outside of film fans and Raimi fans.
I mean, I am a Raimi fan. I will watch anything that man makes.
Same.
But I'm also a huge Phantom of the Opera fan. Because, I'm a musical theater kid. But I had never heard of this movie.
Oh.
I had it was just completely off my radar. I'd never heard of it. So when Thomas said that, that was one of the choices, I'm like, heck yeah, that sounds right up my alley. And it was. It's a hoot. But, never heard of it. So
He
I don't know.
definitely made it entertaining, right? Like it's
very entertaining.
Even with all of its goofiness and all of its kind of incongruity and weird tonal shifts, it's wildly entertaining to watch.
It is very entertaining.
Oh yeah.
If it were on, I would finish watching it. Yeah. But it's not like an Evil Dead 2 or an Army of Darkness or a Quick and the Dead where I'm like, I'm gonna go put that on.
Right.
It's not like my first go-to, I think. But I seem to remember it being like a big deal when it came out.
It was a big hit, yeah.
It did well. I mean, it made money. It did well, and I think it was his foray because I mean, after this, if you look at his career trajectory, he goes on to he does Army of Darkness to kind of wrap that trilogy up, and that's a wildly popular movie for its fan base. And then he goes Quick and the Dead, Simple Plan, For Love of the Game, The Gift, 1, 2, 3, 4, bang, 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 and then it's fucking Spider-Man 1, 2, 3. And it's just like, God damn, this guy. I mean, he just starts crushing it. He just proceeds to just start crushing it. And like, it's just like almost like watching him get it out of his system. You know what I mean? Like I got to get all this out of my system so I can go make Hollywood movies. You know, exactly what he does. It's weird.
I thought Simple Plan was fantastic. I never actually saw For Love of the Game. I heard.
Oh, I like that one a lot. I like that one a lot. Actually, it's sappy and it's kind of weird, but. Kevin Costner, to me, is one of the most believable sports actors. He seems especially for baseball, he seems like a very natural athlete. So it's like watching Scarlett Johansson do all of her Black Widow stuff, where you're like, she really sells in and out of the stunt really well. Okay. For the stunt person, so it looks very natural and it looks very congruent. You know, everything matches. Maybe that's just me.
No, you're right. The most Raimi-esque stuff in For the Love of the Game is all the pitching from the baseball mound where he gets to do his kind of crazy camera work. Everything else is more subtle. Like he finally...
Yeah, I remember reading a review when it came out. Then it was like talking about those shots. And then it was like they were surprised that with it being a Raimi movie, the only drop of blood was I think he cut his hand on a saw or something.
That's it. It's a romance. I mean, it's a love story, basically. So it's very... very un-Raimi-esque in my opinion, which I think is probably why he did it. Where he's like, I'm going to try to do one of these, see what that's like.
I'll have to find it one day and check it out.
Yeah, it's like Darkman without all the action.
So Darkman
better cast, yeah.
So Darkman breaks out of the hospital and ends up sleeping in an alley during what looks like the worst fucking hurricane I've ever seen. I mean, the wind is blowing, the rain is howling. He can't keep a box over him to save his life. And it's just like,
I don't know how he didn't die of infection.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
It's very movie set like, because we're coming off of things like Batman and Dick Tracy, and they're trying to figure out how to do the superhero movies. And all those early ones feel almost... they're even when they're dirty, they're super clean looking.
Yeah,
yes,
it all looks like a set.
Oh no, I was just saying it very much had that early '90s aesthetic to it, which I really liked.
I like that. I like that aesthetic a lot. Yeah. So I created a drinking game for this movie. So what you do is every time there's a Dutch angle, you take a drink.
Oh, dear.
Probably about an hour into it, you'll have to turn the movie off because you won't be able to keep your eyes from crossing. But it was just like, I'd forgotten how much, that dude is in love, especially early in his career, is just in love with a Dutch angle. Close up, bam, or Dutch angle, zoom in, bam. Every way that he can do it to move that camera to an off-kilter angle, he'll do it.
Yeah, and it looks great. It's just, it's knowing when to sparingly use it. But one thing that really watching it, he goes and after he runs away from the hospital, he sets up his lab in this old abandoned, I guess, power plant, which still has power. And he just puts all of his stuff into one shopping cart, and poof, there it is. It all still works perfectly. Yeah, it's like that's the most unbelievable thing in this whole movie. I'll buy the skin, but that's the most unbelievable thing.
It is definitely like just a series of conveniences. Like, oh, he can't feel pain, and he's really strong. Well, awesome, and he can put anybody's face on. Well, here we go. It
is 100% comic book, and I kind of love it for that.
It's same.
So unashamed of just being. This is the way everything works.
It totally embraced. that style, and it's fun.
All credit to Liam Neeson for being able to still act through all of that
with a straight face.
Yeah, because he no enunciation for the mouth, just basically a mask, and then all the bandages and everything. So he still pulled it off.
That mask at the end with just the teeth is pretty good too. It's pretty well. That's a pretty well done appliance.
I kind of got some Evil Ash vibes from that because of the way the jaw kind of.
This movie's got the stink of Evil Dead all over it. He's in the middle of making that trilogy, and it's like it's just it again, the Dutch angles, the crazy push-ins, all again, like you said, that fight scene at the fair, at the carnival. It's just so Army of Darkness, Evil Dead,
and yet, like you said, you can feel like Spider-Man coming out.
Absolutely can. Yeah, I can see him. I can see his simple plan, love of the game type stuff too in there, where he's really trying to be like, okay, I know this sells, but this is what Hollywood is going to want. This is what I'm going to need to do if I'm going to be able to make $100 million Spider-Man movie.
Who mentions that in the interviews of the bonus features about how
fascinating.
When you're independent, you can do anything you want and be crazy, but I can't make an X-rated movie for the big budgets. I got to pay back and something that everybody's going to enjoy, which is what I always wanted to do anyways. I guess I'm reformulating the game plan. Is kind of
there it is. And I really feel like this is the movie where he's doing that. He's putting it all together and staying within the Hollywood system and getting rid of that stuff. The camp is still there though. Like when he's swinging on the fucking helicopter and he crashes into that boardroom and he's just like, "Excuse me," and it swoops back out. I'm just like, "Oh my god, dude, come on!"
I do love that.
It's very Ash from Evil Dead.
No, he is like, "Excuse me." Yeah.
Yes. Excuse me.
Like the helicopter rope has enough slack for that. Yeah.
Exactly. It did remind me how movies in the '90s and I guess maybe the late '80s how much simpler they were because you had sort of a big climactic scene at the end here, but up until that point everything was pretty low key but still entertaining, still like the one-on-one conversations and the the double scene with Larry Drake was entertaining and I guess that would be like a set piece.
Getting stuck in the rotating door.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah. That was like the set piece for that act. But nowadays, every 20 minutes they would have to have like a city exploding and falling apart and all this big end of the world stuff. And it just reminded me. Yeah. And this just, it was refreshing of how simple it was, I think.
My biggest problem with this movie is the end. The last 20 minutes of this movie are interminably long. That whole last action sequence from the helicopter to the building to the swing
helicopter goes
throwing the fucking hooks and all this and and it just seemed to keep going on.
It should be over.
It just felt like he kind of wrote himself into a corner and the only way out was pure ridiculousness. The Sam Raimi answer. Just fucking go crazy.
Yeah.
And it worked, but it was for me probably the part of the movie that I really didn't enjoy as much. The rest of it though, I like I said, I'm kind of torn
on that like high-rise construction area. It didn't really have a big payoff for choosing that because I think at one point they have like that big shot where it goes to reveal like some spiked rebar at the bottom, and I know the guy falls, but they don't really show. I don't remember them showing like an aftermath or the actual. So I don't know.
Rebar.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like it just felt kind of It felt kind of like it was a little half-assed, sort of like we have to do this, Maybe even he felt like it should have ended with Larry Drake getting exploded in the helicopter,
Well, and he got the rated R, so I mean, why not? He didn't get the R for nudity, so,
right?
He got the R for tone and
it's not even that much language,
that type of stuff. Yeah. So I mean, why not go for the extra blood? I don't know.
Yeah, I will say that was pretty awesome when he gets the nail gun or the bolt in his hand. That's pretty great. Yeah, rips it out. It's like that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was good. Good stuff.
Yeah, that hurt.
One more thing to die from infection from, but awesome.
Maybe that's his other superpower is that he doesn't get infections.
I don't know. He's gonna have to watch himself in that power plant, all that rust and tetanus.
Well, it's like, how much does Deadpool and Face Off owe a debt to this kind of idea? You know?
Yeah.
But Deadpool just heals, so he could pull his hand off the spike and heal up. But Darkman doesn't have a healing factor, but it's almost as if he does. You know,
he can make another hand.
Yeah,
and God bless that beautiful Bruce Campbell cameo right at the end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were just like,
well,
that's the guy who should have been Darkman anyways.
Yeah,
the studio wasn't going to let that fucking happen.
Yeah, what if Bruce had been Peyton through the whole movie? It's a totally different movie, but I was sitting there imagining that, thinking that could have totally worked with
absolutely
Bruce still.
But you really would have needed, in my opinion, sorry, real quick, you would have needed a different girl at that point because Bruce is his face is so comical and animated that Francis is going to play real dull against that. You need a girl that's going to be able to keep up with that.
Exactly. And I read that the point of having Bruce as that last cameo was so if they made sequels, Bruce could take over. And the thing about Darkman is kind of a Doctor Who thing where you can change the actor.
Right.
You know, if you have a problem or an issue, it doesn't matter. You know, it's the concept. You're not going to see his face. It could be, you know, whatever mask you need it to be. So I think that's a pretty solid concept. But yeah, and I think that Bruce cameo at the end was one of the in that section that I saw for the first time on TV when I was a kid. So I expected Bruce to be in it more. And so I was confused. I think going back, looking at all the material, I'm like, how does he fit in with this? So yeah, but I wish he'd gotten a shot.
So trivia real quick. So this was supposed to be Bill Paxton's role.
Really?
Ooh, yeah.
Imagine that. So what happens is Paxton's hanging out with his buddy Liam Neeson and says, "Hey man, I just interviewed for this Darkman gig. It's gonna be pretty cool." So the guy's Sam Raimi, and Liam was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen Evil Dead too. Okay, yeah, cool." And then he called Raimi and was like, "Hey, could I get an audition?" And when Paxton found out that Neeson got the role, he didn't talk to him for months. He was so fucking pissed. He was like, "Fuck you, dude," and wouldn't talk to him for a while. I wouldn't. I mean, yeah, dude. If I'm an actor and I'm, you know, like, fuck yeah, I want to be the lead in a Raimi movie. Are you kidding me?
I don't see that working. I don't see him working
either.
I think Bill Paxton got the better end of the deal because a few years later he got A Simple Plan, which
that's true.
Was a great role for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
totally
different. If you see Paxton playing the guy from Twister, as Darkman, maybe maybe kind of rugged science guy might work. I don't know.
Possible. I don't know. I just never really saw Bill Paxton. Loved Bill Paxton, but never really saw him as a scientist type or an even action kind of guy. You know.
I'll have to tell you a Bill Paxton story after we get out of here. I have a Bill Paxton story that I can't tell on the podcast.
Okay.
But remind me and I'll tell you when we get out of here.
Bill Paxton and Sam Raimi would also work together again in Indian Summer, where they're both actors. A little known kind of when you want to call that a rom-com, would you? I don't know.
That movie when it came out.
It's great. I love that movie. It's a bunch of kids who go back to summer camp because the camp's closing. Yeah. It's got Alan Arkin plays Uncle Lou. It's got a great cast, except for Vincent Spano, who I can't stand. It's got a great cast.
You said Raimi was an actor in it?
He played. Well, he doesn't have very many lines, but he's kind of the comic relief. He's like weird comic relief.
He's like the janitor of the camp. Yeah,
I love when Raimi just randomly pops up in things as an actor or as a cameo in the background or something. Yeah,
same. I love that too.
So, the rendering time. This movie was one of the first things to show us, come back in 5 days and your project will be rendered. Yes. It reminds me of rendering the movie, you know. And we were like, well, I guess I'll come back in a few days and hope the power didn't go out. And
that first movie that we cut on Final Cut, and it was like, okay, I've made all my cuts, render. Come back in 2 hours.
Yep. Oh.
Yeah. So apparently this movie had a bunch of rewrites, which is probably why it's confusing and there's tones all over the place in part.
That
And
makes a lot of sense.
a huge test screening debacle as well, where this was one of the worst test screened films for Universal. People were saying it was the worst movie they'd ever seen. And so there was multiple edits on it to try to get it to feel right, until finally, apparently the legend goes, according to Wikipedia, they were about ready to ship it off to finalize it. And then Robert Tappert had another editor come in, do one final edit, sneak that one across. And apparently the Universal executives were like, we didn't authorize this, but it was too late. And that became the final cut of the movie.
Fascinating.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah, there's about a half hour of deleted scenes on the Blu-ray, which you can see like, some of this stuff just doesn't fit at all. So no wonder, it's mostly from the beginning of the movie too.
Yeah, definitely worth a watch for sure. For sure.
I'll have to see if mine has that on there. This may have been the bare bones of since it had those other two movies on it. I'll have to check and see though.
Well, if it was on the DVD, I bet you it's probably on the Blu-ray. They usually just port that stuff over.
That's true.
For the most part. What else?
If you really like those Spider-Man movies, you should watch this, because you'd probably get a kick out of it, since it's so similar in the prototype. Peter Deming was the second unit photographer.
Wow.
And he was with us last week when we talked about Scream 2.
Cool.
He's just one of those DOPs that does a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And then my other note was blink and you'll miss Teehee from Live and Let Die. The actor Julius Harris, the big bad in the James Bond movie Live and Let Die. He's the the funeral caretaker briefly in this movie. He's one of those character actors that it's like, I've seen that guy's face in so many things, and I had to look him up, and I'm like, oh, that's right. He's in the Bond film, and he was also in My Chauffeur that we covered about a year ago. So I always like to point out character actors that we've seen in other films. And
I like Raimi called in a lot of favors on this one.
Oh, yeah. I guess he was living with Frances McDormand and the Coen brothers at the time they shot the movie, too, which also explains why she's in the movie, because as she says in the extras, he wanted me to be able to pay my share of the rent. So
Yeah. Well, it's like Ben and Matt sleeping on Kevin's floor during Goodwill Hunting and all that shit.
Yeah.
Well, so what do you think? What do you give it?
Me? I give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
I can't quite go to 4 because it has too much messiness, but there's enough spark in there that even 35 years later, I'm still sitting here smiling every now and then rewatching this. And parts of it have aged really well, while other parts, well, you just can't escape the amber of 1990 sometimes.
Yep. That's the truth. 3.5 stars. All right. Thomas, what about you?
I agree with that. I agree with 3.5. 3.5? It was fun, and it left me actually wanting to see more, or to see a modern take on it.
All right.
I think I would prefer a show, though, a series.
Ooh, series would be good. I wouldn't mind watching that, especially if it was updated and done for now, rebooted. That might be really good. Aaron, what do you think?
Printing.
I'm going to bump it up to 4 because there is one shot in it that lives rent free in my mind now. I just absolutely think it is absolutely, I can't even put words to it, but Frances McDormand is standing there watching the explosion happen.
Oh, yeah.
And then it just morphs into her in her funeral gear.
Oh, yeah.
Standing in the cemetery. And it is so campy and cheesy and so seriously done at the same time that I think that is one of the greatest shots I've ever seen for so many reasons. That's
fantastic. I think I'm going to go a little bit lower. I think I'm going to go 3. Because I remember really loving this movie, and I hadn't seen it. I haven't seen it in at least 15, 20 years. And I put it back on, and I'm just like, oh man, it's really kind of starting to show its age. It's a little creaky here. But I would rewatch it again, though. I mean, 3 for me is pretty good. That's rewatchability. That's hey, I'd put that on the shelf and own it and watch it every now and then.
It's creepiness. The more time goes past, the closer becomes to the 30s and 40s Universal monster movies and almost feels like one of those.
It's yeah, and I mean it's very weird and singular. You're not going to see another movie like Darkman for sure. At least you're going to see movies like it, but you're not going to see one executed like it, right?
It'd be a fun double feature with The Invisible Man.
Yeah,
like the 1930s.
Ooh, maybe you should do the John Carpenter memoir in this one.
Oh boy.
John Carpenter's Memoirs of the Invisible Man.
I will give it to Darkman that he has a specific way of putting that bandage across his nose every time.
Yeah.
He's got to have that Darkman slant there. He's very fashion conscious, even when he's all.
Well, he's running around wearing Eric's fedora, which is interesting. Eric.
He definitely has he has a very distinct and I would say iconic look. If I think if we had seen more Darkman, I think more people would recognize that look as, oh, hey, Darkman, you know? I think he does have a very good silhouette and a very good, easily identifiable look.
I agree. Well, all right. That moves us to
let's go back
Fright Night.
Yeah, another 5 years back to the mid-'80s, because we love to live in the 80s here. And it's funny that this movie was brought to us because you would think that this would be a movie that we would talk about first, since it's so quintessential 80s. And just much like Darkman, there's parts of it that have aged well, and then there's parts like the score that remind you, yes, this is the 80s. And you cannot escape it. But that also adds to the charm of it. But anyways, Cliff, what is Fright Night from 1985, not the remake?
That's right. Fright Night, the original Fright Night, 1985, rated R, an hour and 46 minutes. Fright Night sees a teenager believing that the newcomer in his neighborhood is a vampire. He turns to an actor in a television-hosted horror movie show for help to deal with the undead. This is written and directed by Tom Holland. Stars Chris Sarandon, William Ragsdale, Amanda Pierce.
And you know what he wrote, Cliff? He wrote Class of 1984.
That's correct. That's exactly what he wrote.
Reviewed a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's right. Storyline. For young Charlie Brewster, nothing could be better than an old horror movie late at night. Two men move in next door, and for Charlie, with his horror movie experience, there can be no doubt that they are vampire and his day guardian. The only one who could help him hunt them down is a washed-up actor, Peter Vincent, who hosts Charlie's favorite TV show, Fright Night. But Vincent doesn't really believe that vampires exist.
That's a much more succinct.
That's a much better succinct plot than this ridiculous mouthful that I had to read for.
Well, this one has a more succinct plot as well. Darkman's got this real estate thing going on. It's got a lot going on. This one's more to the point. Vampire? No, it's not. Yes, there is. You know.
Yeah, Rear Window with a vampire. Yeah. This movie is perfect. I love it.
It's great.
You know, this guy would also go on to write Child's Play a few years later.
Child's Play, yes.
And it's funny because similar to that movie, this is a movie about gaslighting as well. There's a vampire next door. No, there's not. There's a doll trying to kill me. No, there's not. You know, he likes to have that similar reoccurring theme. And hey, the guy's name is Charlie, and then Chucky. Geez, it all comes back to Charles for some reason.
Oh wow! This Tom Holland also wrote Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. I don't know if you guys ever caught that one about the.
I have an imaginary friend. No, you don't.
The kid who has an imaginary friend.
I had not seen that one.
No,
he plays a weird. He plays an imagine. It's not it's made up for the movie, but it's like a turn-based D&D game with a mini, but it's a spy game, and so he's always imagining that this little spy is, and it's Dabney Coleman is the spy.
Yeah, okay.
And Dabney Coleman's always giving advice, helping him get into trouble and all this type of shit. So,
I do remember this, yeah.
Anyway, so Fright Night. Back to Fright Night. Sorry.
So is this, if it's not the first, it's got to be among the first movie where a super fan was the protagonist, right? Where somebody's like, I know all about the horror movies and stuff, and now it's happening to me, but I'm going to use my knowledge to kind of win the day.
King of Comedy comes to mind, I guess, where De Niro abducts Jerry Lewis. You know, he's a huge fan of Jerry Lewis, and he wants to be a comedian, so he abducts Jerry Lewis. But there aren't a lot of them like where the super fan is sort of the protagonist
Right.
Fanboys would be the other one I could think of, but
Well, it's like
that comes later.
This does for vampires what Scream did for slashers, kind of. And in a way, Scream's one of those too, where it's like, oh, we've seen all those movies. Now we know the rules, kind of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is pre Lost Boys, right?
Yeah, this kind of vampires were kind of persona non grata for a little bit in the early '80s, and then Fright Night comes along and shows us how to do vampires in the '80s
with teens, with teen how to put a vampire with a teen kid. Then you get Once Bitten, then you get Lost Boys, then you get My Best Friend is a Vampire. Right. You get Jesus Christ, then you get Buffy.
Buffy and those in Interview with a Vampire, those '90s ones. And then I feel like it kind of all roads lead to Demon Squad in a way, because I always felt that film, your guys' film had a lot of that Buffy kind of.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
This is true. But I will say that the Fright Night vampires are very distinct from anything that came, I would say, before or after, because there was stuff when I was a kid and I didn't quite understand like how or why. It was just cool, like the big mouths.
Yeah, the shark mouth is
it just looked so cool, and I hadn't seen that really before on a vampire. And then just some of the ideas of like the familiar even having his own weird demise and look and everything. I hadn't really seen any other vampires like that, and it was very cool.
I mean, I can't. I'm running it through my head trying to think of anything that reminds me of Fright Night, and the only thing I can kind of think of is, again, Once Bitten.
Yeah, things that come out,
or the one with fucking George Hamilton.
Oh, the love.
Yeah.
And I don't mean, as far as quality, but just that kind of tone, I guess, of a vampire in a modern society with a guardian and all that kind of stuff.
That's true.
Renfield reminds me a bit of this too.
True. That's very true.
Yeah,
that is true. Yeah. The I would say Fright Night very much. I think it holds up, even though it is very 1985. Everything about it is like a period piece now. Just the music, the clothing, the way, like the latchkey kids, and just how they were doing their own thing, and the oblivious parents, and
it's very Monster Squad too.
Yeah, exactly. And the TV host, which nowadays aren't as much of it. There's a couple, Svengoolie and a couple other things, but
when we were growing up, there was like fucking Count Gregor, and there was Elvira, and yeah. Good hosts back then. Svengoolie is a good pull too.
And I think the casting's really, really good, really solid.
I keep, for me, the only casting issue I have with this film is Marcy from fucking Married with Children. I'm just like every time she's on screen, I'm like, it's fucking Marcy from Married with Children. It's Marcy from Married with Children. And so like, I don't know why. It's just she's so typecast in that role in my head that every time I'm like, where's your husband? Where's fucking
Where's Ed?
Is he going to come out with his hand in his pants?
And she's probably the one that looks least like a teenager too, because
she does look like a fully grown woman.
Exactly.
She's like a 30-year-old with a hair bow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't, that much later when she was playing, a grown adult married with children. So yeah, she very much, I think she's just kind of always looked the same. She's always looked mature and like her. Yeah.
I have a bit. Can I do my bit?
Sure.
Okay, here's my bit. Dear Diary, my girlfriend wanted to have sex with me last night, but I got distracted by the vampire movie moving in next door. Now she's mad at me, and I'm pretty sure Mom is going to bang the vampire. At least I'll have evil Ed on my side. Talk soon.
Yeah, I will say that Charlie, he is so not into it.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, at first I was like, oh, come on. But it's actually, when I think of it as we're talking, it's kind of refreshing that he's not your typical horny 80s teenager. Because there's, and this is the era, this is the decade of all the sex comedies, of all the losing it, and this obsession with men losing their virginity. And so it's nice that he's kind of like, she's like, fine, we'll have, because he's like, well, when are we gonna have sex? She's like, fine, okay, and then he's like, oh, horror movie's on, never mind. Like he's just completely, I don't know, I kind of like that.
It kind of really, it highlights the innocence at that point, because there, there's this very adult situation, but oh wait, shiny. Let me go look out the window and see the vampire moving in next door. Mm-hmm. That's got my attention now. Mm-hmm. And they're just so innocent at that point. And it's kind of sweet.
And Charlie does have this very gosh golly.
Yes.
Like almost, if Tom Hanks had been like several years younger, I could see him like knocking that role out of the park.
Yeah.
From that time period.
Burbs, like, yeah.
You have to be pretty gullible to be like, I know where I'll go get help. The actor on television.
Yes.
Yeah, and part of me watching it this time, I was like, maybe Charlie should have been younger in order to buy into that,
Not the right
because you can take out the, hey, let's have sex angle, make them 12 or 13 and have it, or whatever, and it might play differently. Yeah.
It'd be super cute.
Yeah, but then when she gets seduced at the end, it's kind of like that doesn't have the same.
That's very true. That's
which watching that now,
it's still.
I'm like, it's still. That's like this is a little much, a little creepy, a little weird.
I mean, I guess it helps that she looks like she's 35.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. She doesn't look like she's 14. That's true.
Yeah.
Have you noticed in the very beginning? You know how they show the clips from the monster movies that the vampire killer guy's in. I can't remember his name. I'm bad with names. But have you noticed that in the first clip the stakes backwards as he goes to stab the vampire?
Yes.
So that's how naive Charlie is. He doesn't even notice that. It's like he thinks this guy's going to help him kill vampires, and and by the way, imagine that the vampire you actually spotted a vampire in real life. And that vampire noticed that you spotted them and then went to you and said, you have fucking two choices. You can forget I exist, or I can kill you and your entire family. What would you do? I'd be like, you know what, bro? Have a good eternal existence. I'm out of here. You know what I mean? I'm definitely not going to shove a cross in his fucking face.
No. If anything, I'll go, great. I'll leave you alone, but I have questions first.
Yeah.
Can we have a cup of coffee and talk things through?
Yeah.
And he's like, look, this isn't an Anne Rice novel. Fuck off, kid.
Yeah. But I thought it was very believable, though, of his mom inviting Chris Sarandon in.
Of course.
1985 Chris Sarandon in. I would.
It's dreamy.
Yeah. His mom was very hard up. She was.
Well, she let the wrong one in for sure, but
exactly.
He was good looking.
Yeah, he was very cool.
Can't blame her.
Very pretty, very cool. I can't blame any of his victims. The one watching this now, the one weak link that I think Erin kind of brought it to my attention was Ed.
I can't stand him. I'm sorry.
He's just a little much. I remembered him being more of funnier, like a knowledge point and funnier, but having more knowledge about vampires.
Yeah.
Being like the go-to guy, but he's just kind of there and he's kind of an asshole.
Yeah. It didn't break my heart when he kind of.
I felt bad for him because he had a very, very graphic and rough demise.
Oh yeah, no, that was.
And he was. I did feel bad because he was just an outsider kid who wanted to be accepted. But I felt like maybe
stop calling me Evil Ed.
Yeah. He was just just annoying. But I did end up feeling bad for him. But
but not when he went down the dark alleyway after everyone said don't go down the dark alleyway. That's when I was like, I don't feel bad for you.
Yeah, it's like you get what you deserve. You keep going down that path.
Well, dark alleys in these movies.
Nobody deserved that. That's just rough.
I'm not sure how we came back from that one, but
not really.
I have a note. I keep struggling with Marcy. The makeup on Roddy is a bit meh. I don't like how they did that. It's the same thing they did to the Balsillie character in Blackberry.
Oh yeah, he's
they
overly
braid
frosted.
his hair and it's overly frosted and it doesn't look right.
Maybe on the
baby
screen it would look better, but on a high def monitor you can really
monitor just doesn't play. Yeah. But this movie is so 80s stylized. It's
Mhm.
like a commercial for members only jackets and Patrick
Yes.
Nagel posters. You know, at one point, Marcy's in fucking seafoam green and purple. And you're just like, oh my God. And it's pastel, of course. It's pastel because it's the fucking 80s. But you're just like, Jesus Christ. This movie is just smacking you in the face with its 80s.
Mhm.
like
And then
how-
Chris Sarandon in the club later, and he's got that sweater, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
just 80s. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and an 80s dance number. I mean,
Yeah.
fuck. I mean,
yeah.
The
have
music
to have
is
that,
appropriate.
you know.
I love how Jerry Dandridge has the score for the film on cassette tape. Put it on at one point. I'm like, remember when that was like the high end
Yes.
entertainment stuff, and now it just
Hell
seems
yeah.
hilariously antiquated.
I do have so many questions about his familiar and how that whole relationship works because I don't.
Yeah, you assume it's like a Renfield type thing, right?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
he seems like he is.
He's got a lot more.
He seems pretty normal.
Yeah, he's just psychotic.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
then he like melts. So it's
Yeah. That
It's
is
a cross
weird.
between Renfield and Guillermo.
yeah. From What You Do in the
From
Shadows.
what- Like he has his own agency, his own personality, his own thoughts and everything, but he's also supernatural at this point.
Yeah.
Not really sure how that works.
Yeah, part 2 has more of a Renfield type character. I think it's John Grease plays the
Yes.
Renfield guy, and that
Yes.
one's a lot grosser too.
Part 2 was my first, or like the last 20 minutes of part 2 was my first introduction to Fright Night.
Oh.
I remember it was on at my cousin's house. They had rented it when it came out on VHS, and it was just like seeing that one character who was always on roller skates going down the hallway before I guess they got their comeuppance, and that was like my first introduction. I'm like, what is this? And then that's how I found Fright Night, and of course, Fright Night is so much better than part 2.
I like how the first half of the movie is just all about the world building. And then almost exactly halfway through the movie, Peter finally meets Jerry, these two characters who wouldn't have run into each other. And then it's on at that point. I also like how Jerry wrecks Charlie's car. So now they have to be on foot for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, why in the fuck would you assault a vampire's lair at night?
Nope.
You wait till the fucking daytime.
Well, he told him, let's come back in the morning. Well, she'll be dead by then, Cliff. Amy will be dead by the morning.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, so there's your reasoning. Okay. I would have just thought, well, it's unfortunate that my girlfriend is now the succubus of a demon. We'll kill her too in the daytime.
Or, maybe they'll be happy together and we'll just go on.
She's in the painting. So
he did offer for me to forget it. So I'll just forget it.
Yeah,
I do love how the outside of his house is just this regular 2-story kind of suburban house, and you go inside this gothic manor type with that cool staircase and the stained glass windows. They did a lot of renovation work in the middle of the night, like overnight at that house.
And his cover story is he's an interior designer, I believe.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay, maybe there's something there.
I don't know if I'd hire that guy.
It's like that Warlock movie we watched, Cliff. They're like that.
Yeah. Oh God! Wow.
They know a lot about interior decorating.
Do you recall where they ever said it was set? Was it, or we assume it was L.A.?
Oh yeah,
I assumed it was California.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I really did assume it was California. Yeah, but to me, it felt like California, LA.
Yeah,
suburbs of LA, something like that. Yeah, somewhere in the valley, a vampire has landed.
So I was also trying to figure out how, I guess, realistic it would have been for a Peter Cushing type to be hosting a local, monster movie show, unlike just your local rundown TV station down the block, and I was like, hey, maybe it is LA. Maybe that might be kind of possible, but
yeah, I think LA is probably a good good bet. There's a like a werewolf prosthetic in this. Like, is he a
Mhm.
vampire
Yes.
or is he a fucking werewolf?
That was one of
I
the
don't
things that always
know.
weirded me out. I never understood. Yeah.
Like Peter Vincent said at one point, I fought them in all their forms, as a bat, as a wolf, as a and it's like,
okay.
they can take on different shapes,
Oh.
and so then he
Okay.
goes through.
It's a good prosthetic. The stabbed wolf prosthetic is fantastic.
That's nasty.
It's a really good werewolf appliance, and I must be what Surge won his Oscar for, Marty. Anyway, that's an interior joke. It'd be tough to go into a house billowing all that fog. I'd be like, again, guys, daytime.
Again,
daytime. We can see what we're doing.
They said, come back around 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Don't put any crosses.
I think I like the film's effects quite a bit. I like the film's effects. I like that it's all practical.
Well, it's
there's
the
no
team
CGI. There's no nothing.
The team that did Ghostbusters, and they did this right after, and so they were quoted as saying something like, "We figured out how to do it on that movie, so by the time we moved to Fright Night, we had perfected a lot of it."
Yeah, they did a really good job.
Yeah,
They did.
You can tell.
Yeah,
they did. And I will say, looking at this, and you mentioned Child's Play earlier, you can tell that they are both Tom Holland movies. They have a great look. Aside from sharing Chris Sarandon, they have a very similar, very nice.
Yeah, I'd agree with that
look. Yeah. So I really love the way that the movie looks, and I think the writing's really fun.
I was about to say, he's a stronger writer than Raimi. I like Raimi's directing more, but Tom Holland is more of that writer-director combo where this is his first directing gig, and he's just hitting it out of the park right away, because I think it's because he has that stronger screenwriting.
Yeah.
No, I definitely
and it's because of this movie that Roddy McDowall will forever just live in my heart. He is just adorable. The best. I mean, Planet of the Apes, he's great in, he's fantastic in, but this is just and when I think Roddy McDowall, I think Peter Vincent.
One of my favorite Roddy McDowall scenes is in one of the movies it's in a movie that we've done on this podcast that I really didn't enjoy, and it's Class of 1984.
Oh yeah,
and it's the gun scene in Class of 1984. It's fucking awesome.
Or if he's like holding the class hostage, or making them answer questions at gunpoint.
Yeah, it's so good, because you're like, he's gonna kill one of these kids. It's awesome. But he's fantastic in this too. He's really good. He's a great actor. Right? The guy's been acting since he was a kid.
Yeah.
They wanted to make a part 3, but if you know the horror story of real life of what happened to why part 2 disappeared, that's why there's no part 3. So you can look that up yourself.
It's so hard to
I stole your bit.
Not mine.
What I think is, I know 2 was still kind of hard to come across on VHS or DVD or anything like that. And then we had the remake a couple of years ago. I guess a decade or so now. And then from that remake, they had a Fright Night 2.
That's right.
Which was just a remake of the remake, but with the sister family, the Jerry female version. So it was a remake of 2 and the remake.
Wow.
Well, good news. The original 2 is the film rights have been cleared up.
Yeah, they finally cleared.
Oh, really?
Out, so it'll come out.
So they're going to plan a release of 4K release of it.
Yeah, had a cool poster. Just the white poster with the fangs or the lips. I think lips with fangs.
Yeah, that was a good poster. Yep. Yeah, I like that quite a bit. The mouth on Marcy freaks me out. I don't like that.
Shark mouth.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, I do love how when she is a teenager, she's got the Marcy hair, just the Amanda Burst hair. But a couple of hours of changing, she's got this long red curly hair, in that white dress. Just becoming a vampire just really matured her, I guess.
Developed her and got her a great dye job.
Yeah. Interior design and salon in there somewhere, I guess. Yeah.
It brought out the wild side. Yeah.
So Peter Vincent. So get this. This makes a lot of sense. Peter Vincent's that role was originally written for Vincent Price.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I can see that.
I can definitely see that.
It was just very, very old at that point.
Yeah, because it wasn't. I guess it was 85, 84, 85. Yeah, he would have been great.
Yeah.
I still love Roddy McDowell though.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah, it gave Roddy McDowell a chance to play a character with the largest age range he ever had. He's like, I've never played anybody who's supposed to be that old before. He also gets to play the young version of him in the old movie clips. So
that's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. I guess Chris Sarandon's idea was to eat the apples.
Oh, because he's a fruit bat.
Yeah, because he was a bat. He's a fruit bat. Yeah. So he's like, well, it's really fruit.
It was. The apple thing was kind of intimidating.
Yeah, it really was.
So that was a really neat call. But yeah, it was kind of intimidating. Never thought someone eating an apple would kind of be threatening, but there you go. He was just so cool.
Yeah.
In this role, I've seen him in other stuff, but I think this is like one of his best.
Well, I mean, you see him in The Princess Bride, and he's very handsome, but he's not cool. No, like there is nothing cool about Humperdinck. But this guy, this guy is cool.
And he's very chill in real life. I met him at a con a few years ago, and he's very tall, but he's just like, hey, what's going on, guys? Just totally just chill, not a care in the world. So,
so $10 million budget.
Yeah, it was the lowest budgeted movie from, what was it, Columbia Pictures that year? They didn't expect it to do anything, and the definition of sleeper hit. Yeah.
It's a classic.
They were putting all their money into Perfect with Jamie Lee Curtis and John Travolta.
Oh no!
That's a real scary movie.
And the Slugger's Wife, the one with Rebecca De Mornay and.
All right.
Well, I've heard of that one. I think my parents went to go see it.
It played a lot on HBO.
That might be
after it came out.
So did Perfect.
Yeah,
I feel like Fright Night was on made the TBS TNT rounds like every weekend.
Yeah, it did.
The longest time.
Yeah, Fright Night. I mean, Fright Night's got a very huge cult following. It's like some of these others we've been talking about, Monster Squad, Lost Boys. They have these built-in audiences that absolutely adore these movies. I went to a screening of Lost Boys last year at Flicks, and it was fucking packed. I mean, there was not an empty seat in that house. It was completely full. I was like, damn, this movie's still packing theaters 40 years later, really impressive.
I think one of the things that really makes Fright Night stick with me, at least the original version, is just how kind of playful it is. It's scary. It's got great effects, but it's also playful. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's just got the perfect balance of comedy and horror, and that's hard to pull off. So it's a really good example of managing that tone.
And thinking about it, it probably played so much on TBS and TNT and all those channels because it's not difficult to make a TV edit of.
True, you just crop out one pair of boobs and you're good.
Yeah, it's like
no, it's that's it. Yeah, he walked a really fine tightrope to get a movie that kids could watch without being completely scared of, but also and enjoy. I mean, I honestly think that this probably would have been PG-13 without the boobs. And a couple years later, if there was a PG-13.
Yeah,
it's because it's so aimed right at that market.
Well, that werewolf transformation's a little grody there, where he's got the steak.
Yeah, but maybe they cut a piece here or there. But I think you, like you said, you crop the boobs out, and you could probably go for a PG-13 on this pretty easily. Just a couple of notes,
Remember Raiders? We got melting faces and exploding heads. Yeah. That's PG. It was PG. Yeah,
absolutely.
So it was a different time.
Yeah, you got Tanya Roberts topless in Beastmaster, for goodness sakes. That's PG.
Yeah. I remember there were like G and PGs where
yeah. I remember
it's the 80s, man.
I was doing a summer program at the YMCA as a kid. I think I was 12, and they were like, "We're having movie day," and everybody's like, "Sweet!" And I was like, "Awesome, dude! I don't want to go outside. It's Tucson. It's hot. I don't want to do that." And so she's like, we're gonna watch Beastmaster, and I'm like, and so I like sidled up to her. I was like, you know that movie's got nudity. She goes, it's PG. No, it doesn't. Go sit down. We're gonna watch Beastmaster. So I just fucking sat there, just like waiting, waiting. And when the boobies came up, all the kids were like, "Oh!" And she runs, and she's standing in front of it. And of course, the kids are looking through her legs and around her. It was hilarious. It was fucking funny as shit.
Oh my!
I remember. I remember, like the Romeo and Juliet movie from the 60s has similar.
Yes.
Similar English Class, we had a similar thing.
Yeah, same thing. English Class was like, yes.
Yeah.
In school. Woohoo!
And I could be wrong about this. I feel like Tourist Trap, the original, was like PG.
It is, yeah, but it's a lot more weirder than
yeah.
And there's like, I think they go skinny dipping too in that. And
it absolutely should not be PG.
What they got away with. Yeah.
Speaking of not getting away with it, but speaking of nudity, the guy who played Evil Ed went on to do a lot of gay porn in the 90s.
Oh, I heard that.
I had heard that, yeah.
Like a ton of it, where I was just like, oh man, wow. I thought he was a pretty good actor. I was really surprised that his career took that turn. And apparently he's actually doing new stuff now. He's been in a recent horror movie, if I understand.
And I know he did this and did 976 Evil.
That's one I remember, yeah.
Yeah,
and I think
that's the one I remember. Otherwise, I kept going, what the hell is this other movie that I remember this kid from? 976 Evil. Oh, and he's in At Close Range too.
For sure, I don't know how he made that transition over, because it seemed like he was fairly popular. Like he was like on those like up and coming.
That's exactly what I mean. He seemed like he was up and coming. He seemed like he had that niche of that kind of quirky nerd guy that you needed in those 80s films, the best friend, He seemed like I was very shocked when I was looking at his IMDb to go, oh man, really? Okay. To go from 976 Evil to Butt Machine Boys is a pretty big difference.
Sorry, that's a title. That is a title.
That's an actual title, yeah.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
the strange saga of Fright Night.
Yeah. Yeah. And it wasn't just one, it was a bunch. Anyway,
wow.
If you're out there, buddy, I'm glad you're working again. Congratulations. I make no judgment on your porn career. People got to eat. But that's an interesting turn. Anyway, pastel purple and seafoam green. Jesus Christ, Marty.
And see, I was all hung up on the synth score. I was like, oh, it's kind of timeless. And then that music kicks in. I'm like, oh, that's...
it's very much, yeah.
It is so 80s.
Well, what are you going to give this one, Cliff?
I don't really enjoy this movie a lot. It sort of, for me, it just doesn't, I don't know. I struggle with it at times. It's watchable. I don't think it's a poorly made movie at all. For some reason, it just doesn't, I don't connect with it. But I'm going to give it 3 stars because I think it's well made. It's rewatchable. Well done. But it's just, for me, like, I can't take it to that 4 star because it just doesn't, I don't know. I'd rather watch Lost Boys or Once Bitten or,
Once Bitten.
Yeah, I know. And that's I know. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that was
or that George Hamilton one. What's that one? Love at First Bite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
That one's terrible. I wouldn't want to watch that one instead of this. I would rather watch Fright Night than this. But there, I feel like there are other vampire movies I'd probably rather watch.
Yeah. I give it 3.5. But I like it a little bit more than Darkman, though. Darkman, I gave a 3.5 also, but that one's leaning more towards a 3, while it's this one.
I would agree with that.
Iconic stuff in this.
No, I would totally agree with that. Josh, what do you think, man?
I'm going 5. I just have a really soft spot for it, but I will say there have been a couple of times when I've watched it where it didn't quite connect with me. Maybe I wasn't in the right mindset or the right mood or something. Right. But then there have been some times where it's like I'm just giddy watching it because it's just so fun.
It's firing on all levels for you.
Yeah, and I think an audience going into it expecting one thing and then seeing what it is or the tone that it is may not. Yeah, it may not land with a lot of like modern audiences, watching it now.
If it's marketed as horror and they walk in there and it's really just kind of like a kid comedy.
Yeah, because it doesn't have like the edge of Lost Boys. It is very wholesome in its
that Monster Squad feel to it.
Yeah. So I can totally understand and relate to that.
Yeah. Erin, what about you?
I'm gonna go 4.5 because I would almost go 5. I love this movie, but there's a little bit of a lull, like toward probably like 3/4 of the way through, a little bit of a lull. And
there's a lull. Yeah,
there's a lull.
There is.
But I feel like because of this movie, we eventually got Galaxy Quest.
Oh, wow!
Draw a straight line.
How are you making that connection?
Because of the we're gonna go and find the actors to to do what their characters would do.
I fucking love
I can draw a straight line from one to the other, and because of that, it's 4.5.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I can't blame you on that. Okay, well there you go. We call that a gentleman's 9 on the show. 4.5 is a gentleman's 9. Stole that.
The less said about the remake, the better.
Yeah.
And usually that's the case.
Yeah.
Usually that's the case.
It wasn't terrible. It just didn't.
Just wasn't good.
It wasn't better.
Colin Farrell was good.
Oh yeah.
Colin Farrell was very good.
He tends to be.
The rest of it doesn't quite hold up.
Well, I noticed that you've gotten pretty far along in your post-production progress on your new film. I guess that's probably the thing you want to plug today, perhaps?
Yeah, we are winding down post-production on Demon Squad 2, better known as Demon Squad Tooth and Claw. We've got the edit locked, the color correction and sound mix done, just waiting on finishing the music. Have a work in progress cut, so I've been sending that out to some festivals to try to get into that. I'm sure to hopefully start hearing some notifications in the next couple of weeks on the first batch. So hoping to get them everything all wrapped up in the next few weeks and out to all our Kickstarter backers, which we are so grateful for making this possible. But I think it's gonna be a good time.
Right on. So did you fully fund through Kickstarter for this?
Yes, we did. And then a little bit out of pocket after, just because Kickstarter fees and items and all that. But
not near as much as we normally would have to.
Yeah. So it made a huge difference. And everyone has been super supportive. Awesome. And we had a great time being able to get back out and film with those characters, and I think this will be a little bit different vibe, but I think
we're all a little bit older.
Yeah, we are all a little bit older, but kind of a different exploration of those characters and the setting and the kind of the story ideas. I think it's fun.
Nice,
right on. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Do you guys have a date for release? Are you targeting anything?
Not yet. I'm hoping to have all the backer discs and digital downloads by the end of the year, and then I think we'll start looking at actually releasing it probably at the beginning of 2026, nice. Which feels weird to say, but yeah.
Jesus, 2026, man.
Yeah.
I have a buddy who's he's got two kids, are 17 and 15, and they say, "Oh, you were born in the 1900s."
Oh god!
Oh no!
And no. I told him, I was like, "Do you punch them when they say this?" He's like, "Yeah."
I think it would be allowed then.
That's rude.
You were born in the 1900s. Listen, you little shit. So anyway.
Oh my
goodness. Well, guys, thanks so much for coming on. Maybe after it releases, maybe come back on.
Yeah, definitely.
That'd be great.
We'd love to have you. It was a really fun conversation. I'm sorry that I gave your movie a 3. I know you really love it, but
That's okay.
That's how it goes. I mean,
Each their own.
Three's
gentlemen,
not bad.
6. 3's not bad. No, for me, actually, 3 again is in the, hey, I'll rewatch this. This is something I might recommend to somebody. When we get into 2.5 and 2 territory, I'd start to be like, okay, I'd like to burn this, and the person.
Yeah, no, it's one of those where it's when I watch it, it very much brings back like a certain time, like those
nostalgia
90s, early 90s, watching USA Network and TBS TNT weekends when cable was still kind of new.
If I was grading this on a nostalgia factor, 4.5.
Yeah.
Straight up like, oh my god, it's the 80s. Seafoam green and purple pastel. Holy shit. 4.5 nostalgia. But from a enjoying watching.
Oh yeah. No.
3's pretty good.
Yeah, there are better movies. But
Marty, got anything else?
I mean, Cliff and I will be back next week with another solo episode, I guess as we call it. We'll be reviewing Scream 3 and the Henry Rollins epic He Never Died. So that'll conclude our spooky season for the year next week. So,
you guys seen He Never Died?
No, I have not.
It's a weird one.
Henry Rollins horror movie. Yeah, we'll talk about it next week.
I'll have to look into it.
Well, I guess that's us. You want to get out of here on a quote?
Yeah.
What you got for me?
If you're not going to kill me, I have things to do.
What could be more important than my autograph?
That's nice.
All right, guys, let's get out of here. Have a good one.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye.
Don't miss an episode. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, like us on YouTube, or give us a 5-star rating on the podcast app of your choice.